Call of Duty 3 is the next step in the Call of Duty franchise, which is known for cinematic intensity and awesome multiplayer, and also being the #1 next-gen game out there on the console market. Things we're doing to take that to the next level, which is a pretty big step because Call of Duty 2 already has such a high precedent with the fans already. So we're doing things such as story. We now tell 4 stories at once during the chronological battle of the Normandy Breakout. Normandy Breakout being the battle of one of the most crucial conflicts during World War II. This battle consisted of 600,000 troops dying. You get to play through this battle as 2 new nations you've never played before. The first one being the Canadian, and the second one being the Polish. So, in Call of Duty 3, you play as the American, British, Canadian, and Polish, with all 4 of those stories being told at the same time. So you'll play through each mission chronologically as it did throughout the liberation of Paris, which then takes you to the Falaise Gap and how all of those nations had to work together and close the Falaise Gap, which is the encompassing story of Call of Duty 3. All of our missions always start off with inserts of exactly what happened during that battle. So when we set off and head out for design, we research it, get the information, and we set off with we're going to do an area around this battle. Then we'll heavily research the battle and try to include moments or heroic moments from the battle that you would see. For instance, in the first mission of the game, you fight through St. Lo. You fight through a cemetery, just as the World War II veterans did. You fight through the church, just as they did. When you get to a mission in Chambois, there's an event where you have to protect one of your heroes who goes out and lays down a flare. We have a veteran interview of the man who actually accomplished this task during World War II, which we then took and implemented into the game. The reason we went with 4 nations is because we wanted to take the storytelling to the next element. So typically you would play through a game and you'd play through the full American campaign, and then you would play through the British campaign and through another campaign. But we thought it would be more challenging if we could tell all of the stories chronologically as they actually happen, which then brought us to the 4 storylines and the closing of the Falaise Gap. So you'll play through 1 or 2 missions as an American. Boom, our cinematic storytelling kicks in, no loading bar, we switch over to British. You play British, boom, cinematic story kicks in, no loading bar, you're back to American. So it was 1, challenge, 2, the war was chronologically fought out that way. And we thought that whatever to be true to the real story than to tell it actually how it happened. In Call of Duty 3, we've kind of generated this new theme, this new buzz called a living battlefield. And what that means is that everything in the world will appear to be moving, or in fact is moving, meaning when you walk over grass, it crumples. When you look over on a road to your right, you see a tank with troops driving down the street. When you look forward in front of you, you see hundreds of troops piling themselves in front of you. When you look into the sky, you see tracers, bullets, planes flying over. Everywhere you look, there'll be something moving, blowing up, exploding, something for you to shoot or something for you to interact with Call of Duty 3. All of the components should be very similar. We will not have an online component for the Wii version, but we will have an online component for PS3 and 360, and they will be very similar. Call of Duty 3, you're going to be able to play with 24 players online at one time, multiple occupancy vehicles, online persistence stats, 7 character classes. You even get to, if you have a grenade, you can even mount the back of a tank, jump up on it, rip open the hatch, and throw a grenade down it and watch it explode. The character classes basically allow for more of a team play-like experience. So you'll have your basic classes like a medic who will be allowed to come up and heal you. You have a support class, which is new to the franchise, as well as the medic, which allows you to lay down fire with light machine gun fire and lay down ammo for your troops. You'll have a class at scout. For the first time in Call of Duty multiplayer, you'll be able to call down artillery strikes on your enemy. So if you're trying to take that flag, if you're trying to take that position, and you just can't get to it, we're not talking grenades, and we're not talking little tanks that can shoot guns, which we got. We're talking huge artillery shells that can come down on the enemy and completely flush them out of the area. There is no co-op in single player, but in multiplayer, there is 4-player hot joining, local and LAN. I mean, local and internet. So if you're at your buddy's house and you're on a big screen and you're playing the game, and some guys drop out and you're, hey man, I need some help. Well, your buddy can just, 2 or 3 of your buddies can jump on and hit a button, and boom, they're in the game right there on the fly. 4-player screen, spread, and multiplayer online in the action. I know that the Wii stuff is under development, as well as the PS3, and I can guarantee for sure that everything's being built into the 360 for downloadable content. And we have some really exciting things come with that. But of course, I'm not allowed to talk about it right now. But just as aggressive and pushing forward we are, as you can see with the game that the great team has put together already, hopefully that'll give a tall tale sign of what to expect with downloadable content. So the Wii allows us to take advantage of many elements of a first-person shooter that we haven't been able to do before. Basically, with the Wii Controller, you're able to have an element in your right hand and your left hand, and this allows you to do different types of motions. For instance, in a first-person shooter, you typically throw a grenade. Well, you're going to be doing that a lot in Call of Duty 3. In fact, you can throw a grenade back at your enemies, something you've never been able to do before. And to execute that motion, you'll take the left-hand joystick, grab the grenade, and then throw it. If an enemy jumps in front of you, you'll stab at the enemy. We have first-person and third-person driving now in Call of Duty 3. You'll be able to put the controllers together and drive. One of our battle actions is rowing a boat across a river with tons of boats and mortars going off everywhere. Well, now instead of simply waiting in a boat and waiting to get across that river, you've got to put the Wii controller together and row and help get your team and that boat across that river before the mortars blow up. Little subtleties to just give you a perspective of when you're playing FPS and breaking up the gameplay. So with battle actions and the normal controls of a first-person shooter that are offered in Call of Duty 3, there's plenty of opportunity to take advantage of all the elements of the controller. Without a doubt, we're going to take advantage of every system and every controller capability out there. So as you'll find within the Wii, all the gestures and the motions that you can do, all of those will be available to you, and you'll have access to doing them in the PS3 as well. For instance, if you're holding your controller, as it was on the Wii, to push the controller forward, on the PS3, you jab, almost like you're doing the motion of throwing your rifle butt. So you'll jab to go forward. When you want to drive the Jeep, you'll pull it on top of you, and then you'll be able to drive it. Same thing for the rowing boat. You put it on the side, and other motions. So all of the elements of it are totally being taken advantage of. Great games are made by great teams. And when you play this, you will feel the soul and the fire and the passion of the team that put this project together, taking you to a Call of Duty experience that you've never experienced before.